If I don't go now.
That's right, we've got a few minutes. Here's a recycle.
There's specs in the back, help
If you,
yourself.
yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
Syllabus and
Oh,
handbook.
fantastic. Thank you so
You
much.
got it. And just two more.
Ooh, comics in the classroom. That's cool.
I'm going to pass this out so we don't have to mess with passing it out later.
Is that the one you sent us?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good evening. It is so good to see all of you. This is it. This is the last class. Very exciting. We're so delighted to have you here tonight. I am, as you well know, Cheryl Watson, Phase 2 Director, Assistant Professor at Sierra Nevada College, and I will be dragging you, pulling you, leading you to the finish line, because by May 7th, 8th, 9th, you will be done. You will have achieved graduation from the program and will leave Sierra Nevada College, obviously, with your Nevada teaching credential. You'll be highly qualified in the state of Nevada, along with a Master of Arts in Teaching degree. Very proud of all of you. We have a lot of introductions tonight, but first I want to welcome someone very special to me that is slaving for me, my husband Jim.
It's in my contract under other duties as assigned.
That's it. He knows that well. He was the one that always assigned all the other duties. Jim was assistant superintendent in Lake Tahoe Unified School District in the position of human resources and staff development, and recently retired and now working for me, which is wonderful for zero. But thank you. I really, really appreciate the fact that he is going to film all of our classes, as I mentioned in the email to you. Jim will be filming the classes so that on Thursday, Forrest Goodman, some of you have spoken to him when your email went down, in IT will be posting the video, the recording on YouTube. On Thursdays, hopefully, Forrest will have time to get that done somewhat early in his very, very busy schedule serving the IT department. When he sends that to me, I will send you the link immediately. It will benefit you in case you space for a moment during class, but most importantly, you can reference and refer back to the recording and review some explanations, I guess you could say, of our class session. I need your total focus. I know you've had a very busy day, but 628, intense, vigorous, rigorous, this is even more challenging, as I mentioned. And you are writing a Master of Arts in Teaching degree. Your project director is not writing it, you are writing it. And we will introduce our project directors in just a moment, but they are the ones who will be coaching and mentoring you. And you have been specifically assigned. Jim knows very well how I spread out all the applications and your addresses and your proposals from 628 on our counter, and it's kind of a puzzle putting you together. So you have been strategically placed with that project director in hopes that it will be a good relationship, a good professional relationship. So with that said, I do want to say also hello to our distant students, Julie Holcomb, who is in Elk Grove, California. Oh, she is! Julie, hi! She's on the phone, hello. And Tim Nelson in Davis, California. And they will be with Dr. Jennifer Kazmar, who has joined us this semester from Arizona as a distance project director, and she'll be working with our two distance students. So hello to Jennifer and hello to Tim. They will then reap the benefit also of this recording, so that they are in attendance, shall we say, in our on-ground class. Alrighty, with that said, I would like to introduce first our project directors, which are the backbone of this program, I should say, and allow each of you to work, I guess, one-on-one, literally, even though your project director may have 1, 2, or 3 assigned students, you are working one-on-one with that project director. I am the director for all of you, so I'm trying to corral all of you to get you to the finish line, but with that said, your instructor now is your project director. So, with that said, I'd like to introduce Laureen Andrews. You're always the first. So,
Snacks back there, please eat them. I don't want to take them home.
you know, Mother Laureen always takes care of you guys, because we know you boogied up the mountain, hopefully safely came up the mountain, and so here she is feeding us. Thank you, Laureen. That's very, very kind.
Thank you.
Laureen, would you give us a quick background, please? Laureen is a student teacher supervisor. She has taught the seminar, other classes. She's been with SNC for quite a while and is now our project director.
I retired 11 years ago from the classroom, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Did 3 years of gifted for Washoe County School District. Then started in with SNC supervising. I have my master's in counseling and have been with the master's program probably 3 years, 3.5, something like a long time. And I love it. It's just the best, and I'm so excited to be working with my 3 and to get to know all of you. So welcome and be ready.
Here we go. And many of you, I do believe, know Laureen because she's a student teacher supervisor in Washoe County School District. So thank you, Laureen. Delighted to have you. And we'll keep going. Dr. Christina Frederick, we're really excited to have her join us. Dr. Frederick is the chair of the psychology department here at Sierra Nevada College at the undergraduate level, and she has asked to, we asked her.
You could say I am.
All right, we asked, all right. We're delighted to have Christina work with us. She'll be working with Brooke as it matches her topic, Brooke's topic. So Christina, would you like to give us a quick hello and overview?
Hello. I'm really excited about the camera.
I know, neither am I.
Anyway, so you mentioned I'm the psychology program chair here at SNC. That is true. My background is in cognitive psychology. I have a master's and a PhD from UC Berkeley. And Brooke was actually in one of the first classes that I ever taught here at Sierra Nevada College. That was a decade ago. And thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I did it to myself too, okay?
Brooke's really excited about
Brooke
that.
has had like 2 careers since then, and I'm still here. So anyway, so I'm excited to get to work with one of my alums, and she's an extra specially prepared individual. So I'm
Excellent.
optimistic about how this is all going to go.
Nice.
Thank you, Christina. And I am very biased. I've said this before. Beth admits it also. This is one of our best cohorts that have gone through. So kudos to all of you. You are exceptional students. Therefore, the bar is up here. I'm expecting exemplary projects. Thank you so much and welcome. Thank you for joining us. I know she's got a very busy undergraduate schedule, so we're
Sure do, coming straight from class.
coming straight from, I know.
Yep.
And her husband also is
Mine?
serving as childcare, am I correct?
Oh, right now? Yeah, he's watching my kids. Yeah,
Yes.
he's the dad.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Most definitely.
I was like, you want me to introduce my husband too?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Christina. No, we'll leave him out of it as long as he takes care of the kiddos,
Yeah.
right? We're good.
Fair enough.
Thank you. But we want to thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you. Please
Thanks.
do. Scotty Gower, sitting in the back. I'm pleased to say Scotty and I taught for, I won't say how many years, but at Incline Elementary School. Scotty was our lead person, so capable, competent, so good with our second language learners. And we did a lot of fun things together, bringing our students the general ed student, English speaking students, and Scotty's EL students. So Scotty, would you please introduce?
Well, you just did.
Well, okay.
So we're done. So I worked for the Washoe County for many years in ESL, K through 8, and a master's in administration from University of San Francisco. And I love working with master students. It's challenging but fun. And do student teachers also.
Scotty is a student teaching supervisor here at Sierra Nevada College, but also at UNR. So, no, we're delighted. We're delighted to have you with us. I think her loyalty lies with us, right?
That's right.
We got it, okay. We're good. Thank you, welcome Scotty. All righty, I am really excited to introduce you to Dr. Lynn Picaro. And Dr. Picaro comes to us from the islands. So Dr. Picaro, we're glad that she's back in Reno. And would you please introduce yourself, Lynn?
Well, I am just most recently from a small island in the Caribbean called Dominica. I was a principal for a preparatory school there, pre-K through 8th grade, although I added an online high school component. Shortly after I started the position, the island and the campus were completely devastated by Hurricane Maria. 95% of the entire island was flattened. So we bounced around from different places in the Caribbean and bounced around for different places in the United States, temporary campuses, up until they found a permanent campus in Barbados. So that's where I come from most recently. Before that, I was the principal of a private school located at Willow Springs Residential Treatment Center, K through 12th grade. Okay, and yeah, and which was challenging and exciting, and I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you, thank you. And Lynn will be working with Danielle and Michaela. Thank you. All righty, and we're really excited to have Taryn Kirk back with us. Taryn is one of our exemplary students. I know, a winner of the Graduate Symposium, Maria Meyerson, Dr. Maria Meyerson Award through Sierra Nevada College. And oh my gosh, was it 16 that you graduated, Taryn? From 15, 16, 15, 17.
17, yeah.
17, okay. Well,
Graduation date was in May and then we finished.
Finished,
Yeah.
exactly. We're delighted to have Taryn back. She has worked for us as a project director. As you know, once you get your master's, you can work at the collegiate level. So we would be delighted to have you come back with us since you know the drill. And you can put the same amount of discomfort on your students that was put upon you, right? Most definitely. All right. Taryn, would you please introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing currently in Washoe County School District?
So I work for Washoe County School District. I've done a couple of different things. I worked on the NGSS assessment team and on the integrated standards. We kind of squared those away last year, and they've been disseminated out to all the science teachers, which is pretty cool. And I just left middle school, where I taught for many years in a Title I school environment, which we just talked about. And now I'm heading up the Biomedical Science Academy at Reed High School, the Enterprise Pageant. And so, yeah, if you have any students that are interested in that, we just got approved for 12 college credits of community health science and also one nursing course. So it's all transferable also to UNR, which is just super cool, and I'm really, really excited and stoked about it. Yeah, and so that's what I'm up to right now. And I just had a little chat with Molly, and I think we hold some similar views. So I am so excited to be here and be doing this again.
Thank you. We know you have a very busy schedule, as do all of our project directors, so we appreciate your dedication to our Phase 2 students. Thank you, Taryn. A couple of weeks ago, I saw Taryn on TV, so watch her on the news, because often she has her kiddos in a science project. So that was delightful too. That was really exciting.
I didn't know they were going to air that. But
They do. They do. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Michael Laletta. Michael joined Sierra Nevada College in 2001. 2001? Two, 2002. When I came on board, Michael was my mentor, jumping from general education at the elementary level, and Michael was there for me, and now I'm delighted that we're able to work together. Michael, would you please give a brief introduction of yourself?
Well, I've been a teacher, counselor, and administrator at the middle school and at the high school level, and honestly, reaching that point in your career where you're kind of looking back, this has been a great experience.
Oh,
And I can only say that working with the supervisors and Cheryl and now Jim,
Our tech
it's
guy.
probably the highlight of all the years I've been in education.
Oh, my
And I
goodness.
want you to feel very fortunate that you're working with some real professionals on your projects.
Definitely. Thank you, Michael. That's very kind of you to say. Michael, some of you might recognize him, is also a student teacher supervisor. So not only is he in Washoe County School District, but you take that big truck of yours everywhere, don't you, Michael? All over in many states. Welcome to all of you. Very quickly now, we will do an introduction of each of our students, and then we will move on to the class overview. Basically, again, as I say, I'm not here to edutain you, but I'm going to be the sage on the stage once again. I have so much information to disseminate to you, but I'm hoping that you're all receiving my emails. Am I correct? Alrighty. If there are any trouble with your emails, we'll discuss that in a bit, but let me know and I'll resend it again. Mickey, did you get it? Do you know? You can't get into your emails, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll discuss that.
That's
We
not my
must have-
laptop though, I don't know why.
It's misbehaving, it does sometimes. Anyway, this time we'll start with Michael. Michael is working with Robert Engels and with Alyssa Bianchi. Robert, would you like to tell us where you're teaching and tell us what your topic is of your project, please?
Robert Ingalls, I think we've all known each other for like 3 years.
Right.
So, yeah.
Good.
I teach at the same place, Sierra Nevada Academy in it's instead, and my topic is homework, doing good homework practices.
Excellent, excellent. We'll expect good things. We haven't had a homework project in a long time, so sounds good, Robert. Thank you. Alyssa.
Hi, my name's Alyssa. Again, yeah, we all have known each other for quite some time, but I'm happy to finish it off together. I currently teach kindergarten at Fremont Elementary in Carson City, and my topic is teaching comprehension and vocabulary through read-alouds for kindergartners.
Excellent, thank you. Lorraine, you have 3.
And they are fabulous.
She's not prejudiced.
No.
No.
Erica, would you like to start?
Yeah, I'm Erica McKenzie. I teach 6th grade at Virginia Palmer, and my project is on restorative practices. So relationship building and taking that help increase student motivation in the classroom.
Excellent, thank you. Ashley.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm the loud one. I am currently teaching 5th grade at Veterans Elementary, and I love it. And my project is on the importance of building self-confidence and motivation to develop reading skills. So focusing on the kind of emotional components of learning.
Grade level, Ashley, I've forgotten.
Sorry, 5th grade.
5th grade?
Yeah.
Correct. Excellent, thank you. Nicole, I haven't had a chance to say hi. Nicole, please introduce yourself.
Nicole Pascal. I teach 2nd grade at a Title I school instead. And my topic is vocabulary instruction and remediation because my kiddos are really low, so it's focusing on vocab that they don't have at all.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. I would like to introduce my student, Meredith. Meredith will be working with me, usually, as I've said before, as a Phase 2 director because I'm trying to work and support each of you. I do not take students, but we have so many this semester that, as you can see, I'll be working with Meredith, and I'll also be working with a 699 student who took a leave of absence last semester during the fall to get married. She lives in Mammoth Lakes, and I'm really excited. Madeline, hello. She'll be viewing this distance recording also. Madeline Roy from Mammoth, and excitedly she's working on a project. She teaches high school drama in the arts, and it's a Shakespeare project. So I'm learning a lot, and I'm reading some Shakespeare.
Oh, that's cool.
Doesn't hurt me, right? Anyway, I'm delighted. Welcome to Madeline, our distance student also in Mammoth, California. Meredith, would you please introduce yourself?
Well, I hope you guys know me by now. I've been with SPED and General Ed now for, what, 3-4 years? But so I actually feel pretty honored, being that you are pretty knowledgeable in the area that I'm going into, which is phonics, phonics manual, phonics instruction for kindergarten. I teach kindergarten at Collin Ranch, and want to create a nice little foundation, especially now that we're getting a new ELA, new curriculum next year that doesn't necessarily have systematic phonics in it.
So we need it.
So definitely would need something, but have been conferring with the district and other people at my school about how to get that going. Since I'm not a very patient person. But my topic is phonics, and then working with you and digging on your brain I'm pretty excited about. So again, Meredith, and kindergarten is my game, so.
Got it.
And I love it.
Thank you, Madeline.
I love it.
Welcome, welcome. Brooke, working with Dr. Frederick.
Do you want me to hold up for you?
Yeah, sure.
So you can be on camera twice.
Hi, my name is Brooke. And they're really cool. Oh, thank you. Just thought I wanted to. So I'm working with Dr. Frederick. My project is on bereavement in middle school special education students.
Which is exciting. I'm excited to see what they bring out. Definitely. Most definitely. Thank you, Brooke. Welcome. And in the back, Scotty's working with the gentleman. Most definitely. Charles, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Charles Target. I've been at Sparks Middle School for 4 years now, teaching 7th and 8th grade math. My project is on 7th grade language learning strategies in the math classroom. So integrating math content and language learning strategies together.
But it's ELL.
Yes.
English for English language
Yes.
learners. Got it. Where Scotty comes in. Excellent. Her expertise and background. Thank you, Charles. Welcome. Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Ventitulo. I teach 4th grade at Roy Gom Elementary. My project is on using authentic experience to teach writing for EL students. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome, Jason. This is exciting. All right, we've had, Molly, did you? Yes, no, not yet. Molly, we did Taryn, but no Molly. Just a couple more. Thank you. Molly, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Molly Bernard. I teach at Koinonia Day Treatment. I teach kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and 4th. And I am really passionate about trauma, but I think I really need to develop my science teaching skills. And so my project is about my brain just went blank. What is my scientific notebooking? Yes, thank you. Digital and writing scientific notebooking. Yes, thank you. So yeah, that's my project.
That's exciting. And Meredith, we are going to take apart the name of Molly's school phonetically so we can all say it. Okay.
It means community.
Oh, very good. Is it a language or?
It's a Christian biblical root. Koinonia.
Oh, okay.
Means fellowship.
Fellowship. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much, Molly. All right. And Lynn, you have 2 exceptional students also. Last but not least, Danielle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Danielle Warren, and I teach 1st grade at Robert Mitchell. and my project is on writing strategies, particularly interactive writing. So, yep, that's gonna be my book.
At the first grade level, right, exactly. And Mickey, you get to be last.
Hey. I am Michaela Philcamo, but I do go by Mickey. But my favorite people call me Miss Phil.
Oh.
I know. I teach AVID, which is a college and career ready class at Sparks Middle School. So I teach 7th and 8th graders mixed all up into one class, which is something. And my project is writing strategies in the middle school classroom.
And today, she said that it was her first professional development day, am I correct?
Yes,
Yes.
It was my first leading a professional development day today.
Woohoo!
Yay!
It was a thing.
You did it.
I did it, and it was
That's
done.
exciting. Well, Charles was being critical, and he's right. Excellent. Welcome. All right, let's get into it. Would you please pull up your syllabus? Let's start with the syllabus. They don't even It's not like you're all right, let's take a look at the first page of the syllabus. The first page of the syllabus, please note that all pages are exactly the same. If you're at school and you left your syllabus or your laptop at home and cannot access our 635 syllabus, you can definitely speak to another team member that is part of our class, because the syllabus is all the same except for the very top on the page, the first page, the top paragraph. It has the information for your project director, their email, along with their phone number. So their cell phone number, and that's how you will communicate with them. Please note that we will have these 4 required class meetings tonight. So one's done, you made it, yay. 3 left on February 6th, March 6th, and March 27th, here in this classroom from 5 to 7. Then, at the end of the semester, and we will discuss this at length, but you will defend your project, as some of you were able to view last semester at the end of 628, when you present to a professional panel of faculty members your project as you explain it, defend it, take us through it, walk us through it, etc., to pass the oral presentation for your professional project. That time and date will be assigned at the end of the semester based on the project director's schedule and your schedule, and the availability of classrooms here at Sierra Nevada College. That's my job. Please turn, if you would, then to page, I am specifically on page 5 of the syllabus. Once again, there's a great deal of information in here. You need to read it, review it quickly, but there are some areas that I would like to highlight. First being the grading policy. As you well know, phase 2 is a pass, no pass grading system. Students who do not complete their professional project during this class will be severely punished. No, seriously. We will be sort of, right, learning. No, we are all advocating for you, and so we will be working with you to help with the conclusion of your program and of this semester. So you will register if you don't finish, because life happens most definitely. you will finish in 699. So I will then again see you here in the fall. So let's not do that. Most definitely. Let's all celebrate as a cohort who has finished together. That is the grading policy, specifically on page 5. If you will look to page 7 now. On page 7 specifically, about the third paragraph is just one sentence from the top. First of all, you know you need to check your email daily, especially now that you're working with a project director who will be emailing you. Also, if you have issues, I wanted to highlight that. If you have issues with the SNC email, which happens a lot, and last week we had some major issues with some severe weather conditions, so much so that the college was closed, etc. And as the faculty came back for the spring semester, it was a true disruption, but yours can go down for who knows what kinds of reasons. So please contact the IT department through the phone number here, or send an email to the SNC help desk at Sierra Nevada EDU. It's a waste of your time to contact me. It's a waste of your time to contact your project director, because then your project director will contact me. It's going to take a lot of time. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time. So please just go directly to the SNC IT department through the help desk. That's on page 7. If you would then, please turn to, one moment, to page 11 in the syllabus. These are the teacher education dispositions for Sierra Nevada College in our Department of Teacher Education. This session, this semester, will be a roller coaster. 628 was rigorous. It was intense. But this, the good news is you won't be using your APA manual as much. But with that said, this is an emotional roller coaster because you're on a high, you have all these ideas about lesson plans and how will I put those together? How will I create a professional project that is a compilation of 12 lesson plans? You'll have a lot of ideas. Sometimes you'll be like a writer. The ideas will come and sometimes they won't. So that's why I speak about a roller coaster. Your project director is there to support you and to help you through this process. But remember, this is a professional relationship, and we expect professional dispositions out of each of you. That won't be a problem with this class. End of my lecture. Please take a look. Turn to, last but not least, page 18 and page 19 are our tentative class schedule. I say that tentative because we are in the spring and it is a weather, winter-related semester, so to speak. But we've always had good luck, and I will plan on that, think positively this semester, for February 6th to be our next class meeting, which is in 2 weeks, just 2 weeks. Please note at the top, this is the agenda for this evening and the discussion for this evening. First of all, a class overview, which I'm giving you some very brief highlights of the syllabus because I expect you to read it. Then, the SNC handbook, which I emailed to each of you. The spring 2019 edition. Please recycle your fall 2018 because it has been revised and is no longer valid, as I mentioned in my email. Then we will talk about your assignments. These bulleted points are the assignments that will be due in 2 weeks. They look overwhelming, but they're really quite simple to an extent. We give you the format for you to follow. Some of it is just copy and paste from your proposal, which makes it a little bit easier and less time consuming for a 2-week due date. I would like now to take a look at the handbook. Please open the handbook and turn to page 25. As you remember from our first class in 628, this handbook includes both classes. So now you will focus on the 635 professional project. This will be your section. Please read it very, very carefully. Many of the questions that you might ask of your project director or you might ask of me is in here, or it's in your syllabus. Be cautious of emailing with questions first before you have not checked the handbook or the syllabus. To us, that shows that you're not a very serious student, quite honestly. That means you're going to find the quickest and easiest way out. And this is not an easy task that you will be challenged by to create. But I must tell you, it's a lot more exciting than writing 12 annotations from research or reading your research. It truly is, in my opinion, much more creative and exciting. If I may, these are pages starting on page 33 to page 36 in the handbook. These are pages that many of you hopefully use during 628 in the writing of your annotations. Hints to use as you write your professional project. Beginning on page 37 are some examples of some formatting that will be done on some of the pages in your book. First is the signature page. This is just a sample. This is one of the assignments that you will be completing in your project, or for your project, excuse me, for the 2-week due date. This happens to be from, some of you might remember Dane Carmichael, delightful gentleman. You will be seeing him during our last class as I show you a video of his presentation before the professional panel as he defended his project. This is his Science Exploration and Problem Solving in Student Learning, an instructional guide for middle school science educators. The first pages that you will be creating for the due date of February 6th is this title page. Again, I mentioned this at the end of 628. You should be thinking about the visual appeal, about the creativity, about the color that you'll be using to begin your project. This was Dane. Here is, for example, this signature page, which you see on page 37 of your handbook. And we will be speaking to that more closely later on. Here's the table of contents. I want you to create the table of contents. The table of contents will be a rough outline. This will be a work in progress, shall we say. It is something that I would like you to begin so that you've got it set up. It's formatted for your project. Also, as creating the table of contents kind of gives you an outline of where you're going, somewhat of a direction. Again, it's a work in progress. You will also create an abstract. If I may, I'm jumping back, kind of doing some back and forth here. Please go back to page 18 in your syllabus. And note the assignments that are bulleted at the top there. Under our first class date, the title page, right here. Second page is the signature page. Third page is your table of contents, as I'm illustrating here. Fourth page, or fifth or sixth, however long your table of contents will take you, is the abstract. And this is exactly what you read when you determined whether an article, yes, it's something I do want to read for an annotation. You will create now your own abstract. The rationale, this is easy. It's the longest part, but the rationale is a simple copy and paste into your project. It is from the proposal. It is from the final corrected proposal of 628. The last one that you turned in to Beth and I that was corrected from technical review. Easy, copy and paste. Then the next section and the last, which will be due for the beginning portion of our project, is, I've got this upside down, give me a moment, is your note to teachers. What we call a note to teachers, which is written in first person, and you are speaking to your audience. The audience of your project, which you may call, many of you called it a resource guide, an instructional guide, a manual, whatever you called it in your 628 proposal, is where you tell the reader, who is your intended audience, that's the audience, you're speaking to another teacher. This is a compilation of research that sits on the teacher's desk like a teacher's edition, a resource manual that they refer to in order to teach. That's what you're creating. So therefore, write a note to the reader, which is obviously an educator, who will then teach from this. Tell them about the project. Tell them why you wrote it. What prompted you? What was that passion that brought out this project? But with that said, please make a sequential dialogue about the usage of the project, how you want it used, how it can be used in the classroom. Many of you look at these and you say, oh my gosh, can I do this? These are 150 pages maximum of a professional project. And some of them are very simple but colorful. Some of them, this was fun, this was Whitney's, Michael's student. She did the flipped classroom, so she did an upside down apple, very creative. This was her front cover. Another good one, Taryn, you might know Emily Coates.
Love it.
Good, good. Engaging STEM interest for young women. But you think, oh my gosh, will I ever be able to write 150 pages? And yet you'll be calling me, right, Taryn, and saying, oh my gosh, I'm at 160, what am I going to do? So it's exciting. It's very exciting. Some of them are very primary teachers. We do cutesy. Then some are, let's see, this is Whitney's, high school level, simple but classic, based on your personal style. So, we'll get into the visual design later, but the last set of activities in your assignments that are due in 2 weeks are 2 activities or strategies. After you've done these preliminary pages, which is kind of the beginning of your project, then we're going to get to the meat of your project. In just a moment, I will show you a PowerPoint very quickly that I've sent to you, that I also previewed in 628, and we're just going to review a couple of the slides so that now you'll have a better understanding of the compilation of your lessons. So, excitedly, that's the meat. That's the bulk. That's what it is. the project is a compilation of 12 lessons. I have passed out to each of you this required lesson components. I sent it in an email, but I'm also giving our on-ground class a hard copy because this is the word. This is, right, Maureen? These are the components that you will include in every lesson. And I've brought some sample projects, as you can see, for you to look through. And notice that each of them have all of these components in every lesson. Title, grade level, time, give us a time. Is it a 30-minute lesson? Is it a 45? Is it a high school 90-minute? Are you on a block schedule? Standards, if you're in California, you'll probably use Common Core State Standards. In Nevada, maybe the NVACs. The objective of the lesson, the materials listed, even a pencil must be included. Whatever is needed for that lesson must be included. A vocabulary list, if it is applicable. For example, if you did a science, I had a young man that did a science project. And Taryn, I know you did, I'm going to show yours in a moment, but I know you did a vocabulary list because of the ability level. Very necessary. For the words, very important that you include a vocabulary list if they are words that the students are not familiar with, and possibly if the reader, as an educator, is not familiar with it either. If I came in to teach Taryn's science class, Lord help the class, but no, truly, I do not have her gifts, but if I came in, I might need a little hint of some of the vocabulary words, most definitely. Then the steps to the lessons, the bullets, and the student engagement. We'll get into this in more detail later, and you will with your project director, but basically, this is the meat. This is where you are teaching the students. And in teaching them, we want to see some actual teaching going on. Don't tell me what the students are doing. First they're doing worksheet 1, then they're going to do worksheet 2, then they're going to do worksheet 3. Don't want to hear that. We want to see some good teaching. And we want you to use that was included in the handouts that I sent today, the DOK, the depth of knowledge. Very important that you ask questions and look at some of those words that are used as verbs, explore, explain, some of those more technical words that we want to draw out of our students in the DOK wheel. So please take a look at that also. Assessment. Every lesson has to have an assessment. If it's a very informal assessment where you're just monitoring the class, or is it some sort of a summative assessment where at the end of the lesson or the end of the unit or the end of the chapter, you're doing some sort of test, unit review, whatever. Next class, we will have a lesson on Assessment 101 so that I can help you with writing those assessments. Remember that your project is standards driven. So you're looking at the standards and you're making certain that what the students are doing as they're engaging in the lesson, either in small groups, individually, or in whole class situations, is aligned to the standards. So the standards are aligned to the objective, to the activity of the students, to the assessment. And then every lesson must have at the end differentiation and extension. So if you're thinking about, oh, they could have done this and they could have done that, make that an extension. Differentiation then, briefly said, and we'll get into that later, is if you've got those little people or tall people who struggle or who need more challenge, how will you differentiate this lesson to meet the needs of those students? So, That would be possibly 2 or 3 sentences, barely a paragraph, for the differentiation and the extension at the end of every lesson. Those are the assignments for February 6th. I will expect those to be submitted to your project director. I don't want to hear from your project director that I'm still waiting. Trust me, if you don't complete this assignment by February 6th, you will not finish this class. If you don't get rolling, you've got to keep up the pace. I expect a lot from you this semester. This is a challenging endeavor. As we have said over and over, you are writing a Master of Arts in Teaching degree, something that you have never done before. If you have, we're excited to have you with us again. The next challenge might be a doctoral degree or possibly your boards, your national boards. But this is the greatest challenge that you've had in your educational career at this point, and we expect it to be exemplary. And we expect it to be a project that does not sit on a shelf and collect dust, but a project that will be usable, not just for you, but for maybe your team, maybe your school, maybe your district, or maybe you'll go nationwide. Taryn, would you like to tell us about that exciting moment when you were sitting waiting for that exemplary person in the science community to speak at a national conference? What happened to you, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, sure. So I went to an NSTA conference. I got one of the grants that Washoe County was giving out, and so it was the LA NSTA conference. And one of the people that I had used in my project was actually doing a presentation, so I was very excited about that. So I went to go to their session, and I don't know how, but it didn't make it into the app, like they didn't disseminate the information that they weren't coming. So it was a room full of 60 people that were coming to watch, this presentation on citizen science by this guru. Yeah, pretty much. And she wasn't able to make it for whatever reason. I still don't know why. And so we just kind of being this room full of really excited educators about this topic, we decided to do kind of this round robin of why are we here? What is everyone else doing that's working? And so we started doing that, and then I shared, the project that I, had been working on, and they got really excited about it. And so they asked if I would pull it up in place of the center of the conference. And so I got up and showed them my entire project, and then got a bunch of emails, and I sent it to a bunch of people, and periodically I follow up with them, and I'm just hey, how's it working for you? What would, be a good reiteration to the project? And I made a website so that we could kind of stay in contact. Yeah, there were quite a few teachers who used it and who really loved it and had really great feedback for me. But it was a pretty wild moment, yeah, so it was cool. Yeah,
it was very exciting. Not only that, but that's our goal, is for you to go, hopefully at some point, to go nationwide and become published. That's very exciting. Taryn was right in the middle of 635, her project, and she did say that the benefit was she was very nervous, but presented to the conference informally, so to speak, but yet it helped her with her defense at the end of the semester, right? She had already kind of done it. So it was a preview, it was a practice.
And then that I got to use when I did the second presentation for the Maria Meyerson Award Graduate Symposium. And then I did it for Washoe County School District at the Science Content Day. So, I got to do it a couple of times, and now I feel better about it.
Exactly. And it may be something that down the road, hopefully after you've had more years of experience in your educational career, that you will build upon it and extend it, most definitely. All righty, let me pull up a very quick...
Cheryl, can I ask us?
Absolutely, please do.
So last term when we did technical review, it was we gave you the paper, it went into technical review, came back to us, we fixed it and gave it back. What I'm seeing though is that it goes to technical review on the 8th, and then that's it. It doesn't say it's coming back to us to fix. Does it come back?
It does, and Good question, Nicole. Thank you. I will jump to that very quickly. You can see the progression of the outline of your assignments that are due. I encourage you to stay on schedule. With that said, the very last schedule on March 27th, that's when your project is due. Your project, a rough draft, is due the 1st of March to your project director. Again, it's a rough draft, but it needs to have all the components of it. Then, on March 27th, that's when the final project,
Where do you see March 1st?
March 27th. Did I
But
not
the
say
rough draft, you said March 1st.
It's
6th. I'm sorry, it's the 1st of March, March 6th.
Okay,
The first
okay.
week of March, I'm so
Okay.
sorry to say. Thank you for correcting me. March 6th is when your project will be pretty much due. You'll have it all together. 75% of it is complete. And then on March 27th is when your completed project will be due to your project director. So like you did with your proposal, you sent it to Beth and I, and then we corrected it. Then it came back to you to correct, and then it went to proposal review with the 2 professional editors. We use the same 2 professional editors for technical review. So now in 635, it's called technical review. So on March 27th, you will hand it in to your project director. Notice the next date that is listed there, as Nicole mentioned, is Monday, April 8th. That's when it goes to technical review. We'll get to that in a moment. But between March 27th and April 8th, which is only a couple of weeks, there's not that much time, your project director will read your project, and then that project will go back and forth between your project director. So it's a little bit different in that Beth and I pretty much only did it once, whereas this time it's a constant back and forth as you're making corrections to perfect it, to finalize it. And then on Monday the 8th by 5 o'clock, a hard copy of your project, doesn't have to be in color, is either dropped off in the Reno office or up here at the lake. And quite honestly, we have a bear box, and many people have used it for delivery of projects to my home rather than having to bring it here to the college. We live in Incline. It's very simple. It's very safe. Even the bears don't get into it. So, unless it's trash day. So we have to make certain about trash day. But seriously, you either drop it in Reno or you drop it to me, either at my home or I can meet you here on campus, whatever is convenient. We make it as convenient as possible. And then again, like I did with your proposals, I deliver it to the professional editors. And it enters technical review on April 8th. And it is in technical review until April 24th. Then, Nicole, it comes back to you, just like it did out of technical review. Once again, first in is first out with technical review. So, we'll discuss that later. But as it comes out of technical review, then you go back to your project director and you make those corrections. We're trying to get it as perfect as possible. If there are some issues, that's where I jump in. And I work with you and your project director. You don't want me to jump in. Not at all. It's not a good thing if I jump in. So, with that said, out of technical review, hopefully you and your project director, before it went into technical review, you got it as perfect as possible, so there's very few corrections to be made. You'll have that window then from April 24th when it exits technical review, which is the latest time, until the first presentation, which is May 6th. Only a couple of weeks, again, it's a short window for you to make the corrections with your project director and then finalize it, it's perfected. Your project director gives approval to be professionally printed, and we use a printer on Kitski. They're wonderful, they're awesome, and they, Taryn can quote that, right? They are just delightful. They work with us, they give us a very special deal, and they know exactly what you need. And if you don't use enough color, Paulette will give you a lecture. She's just delightful. And she knows what she's doing, and she will say, you're paying for color, so use it. So, visual appeal, use color in your project.
And be mindful if you're like doing yours on a Mac, they don't have those, so just really think about that and make sure the PDF is as you want it to be before you send it off to them. But if it doesn't work out, it's fine. Paulette's amazing. She let me literally come in and, like, I had a lot of individual stuff and special stuff on pages, and she I mean, I went in there and she was like, here, have my computer, and she printed out so many different things until it was just perfect. So, yeah, use them. They're amazing. And they're such sweethearts.
And they are, and they give us a really good deal, which is just delightful. Here are the 4 projects, and Taryn, I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot, but here are the 4 projects because she is here with us now. And this is Taryn's project. As you can see, she definitely used color. The Citizen Science Project, an instructional guide for middle school citizen science STEM PBL. And 2017, that's when it was. Taryn, here is her signature page. Here is her table of contents. I will send you this link so that you can view all 4 projects online. This will be a wonderful reference. Here's her abstract. Here's her rationale as it came from her proposal. 3 pages. And here is her letter to the teachers, to the reader. Dear middle school science teachers, I'd like to start by thanking you for picking up this guide. The fact that you have done so means you've taken the first step in implementing an engaging, inquiry-driven, standards-based, collaborative citizen science project. Speaking in first person, no longer that third person as we used in our APA annotations. And then Taryn's project was a professional development. Hers wasn't necessarily geared to the student in a classroom at that exact level. But it started out as a professional development, and then it went to middle school students, right, Taryn?
I had like adaptable lessons for depending on like what your project was, because it's a PBL, so
exactly.
Insert what you wanted to based on your project.
So basically what she did was she taught the teachers first, and then she taught the students. So some of you might want to do that with your project, possibly being professional development instructors. That's a possibility. So with that said, this is an example of Taryn's project.
My initial like iterations of this, the feedback I got back was that I didn't have enough color because I'm a pretty straightforward, and that formatting really simply just like tables are your friend, okay? So they're easy to move around, and when you start having over 100 pages, and you have all these page breaks in between, the tables keep it nice and organized, and you can add color or take it away depending on what you want, so highly recommend.
What are you using to create it?
Word. Yeah, I did it all in Word, yeah.
And Word's the easiest, it really is. We have a student, and I love to show this, although he's successfully teaching in South Lake Tahoe now, but he did one on comics in the classroom. And this is from the summer of 2015, but I do show it because, for many reasons, but he used color. And because it was about graphic novels, so it was a supplementary reading resource guide for 9th grade language arts teachers that implemented comic books. So it was high interest, low level readers.
You're right, like I want to borrow that now.
Well,
no, but I'm saying like the way he did it, like now I would like to.
it's really
borrow
exciting,
that.
except that with his work, he took each, because he had the background, which is exciting, using the superheroes, the comic heroes, and it was fascinating. I think I mentioned this in 628. Will used research from 1942 because he spoke about the historical aspect of superheroes and how they were society's kind of mantra, so to speak, and how it followed the evolution of society with these comic book characters, and the first being Superman. It was fascinating, but each page he did on a PowerPoint slide, it was really challenging. And when he went to print it, he was there from like 8 in the morning, and I think Rick's printing stayed with him till like 7 or 8 that night because of the complexity of each page and each color. Delightful, absolutely delightful, but very challenging. But I always like for you to see this, your choice. I would not recommend making each page an individual slide.
Are those public domain illustrations? Or
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And very, thank you, Michael, I'll say that very quickly. In some of the handouts that I sent to you this afternoon, for the first class handouts, how to cite online from online images, and we'll get into that more deeply, but you will need to use graphics and icons, whatever, pictures, and you will use those that are public domain, so they are free. If you don't, then you'll have to cite them, retrieve from, and then you'll put the site down below your image. So that's APA jumping in for us, but we'll get to that. But it's very, very important that you try to use sites that are free and public domain. Some Google is, some isn't. And do be cautious. Don't start paying for a lot of sites. Don't join and then have to pay for your images. Alyssa.
Just a clarification. Sorry to jump backwards, but
No.
on January 23rd, or sorry.
Yes.
Is that the next class? That's today.
That's today. That's today. It's only today, right?
The homework that's due in 2 weeks, the last one, it says 2 activities or strategies. Is that, or
That,
2 lessons? We'll
those
talk
are
about
lessons. And you know what?
Okay.
You can call them, Beth likes to call them activities or strategies. I'm old school, I just call them lessons.
That's exactly
That's
right.
clarity. So much easier if I just say 2 lessons.
Got it.
That's all we need. And again, this will be somewhat of a rough draft, but by beginning with 2 lessons, you're giving us kind of your format so that you're taking into consideration these required lesson components. You've got all of them, and once you've got your format done, your lesson plan, you're right, then you, boom, just start creating them. And then that's when you can input your creativity of your lesson content into these lessons, and you're not having to start every new lesson with, well, what do I want it to look like, and what color shall I use, and shall I use a border, and what graphics should I use, and images, whatever. So that's when it really starts to flow, and you start going up the roller coaster at that point. All righty. Any other questions very quickly? The most important thing is I want to show you one very quick 2 or 3 slides from the PowerPoint that I sent, the PowerPoint that we previewed in 628, and then most important, I want to give you as much time as possible this evening so that you can begin to work with your project director. With your project director, I want you to make certain you've got phone numbers, emails, etc., and you begin to talk about where you will meet. In working with your project director, you will do your very best. I would recommend that you meet at least once a week. Can be at your school, at their school, at Starbucks, at the Reno campus, up here, whatever you would like to do. That is your schedules. A lot of it obviously is electronic via email, but phone, email, text, stay in communication. Scotty, you had a
I just
question.
wanted you to mention about the lessons out there, new lessons and not ones that have
Scotty,
already.
thank you so much. You're always good about reminding me of that. What we're looking for is a creative application of your research. So your lessons, your project, your instructional guide, whatever you chose to call it, is aligned with standards, your objectives, your assessments, but it's research-based. Remember, you put that in your project goals, research-based. Therefore, we do not want to see a lesson that looks a lot like what you did this afternoon in your classroom. Again, excuse me, but I do not want a regurgitation of what you or your teaching partner next door did. This is a creative application of the research. Remember, you were passionate because you said, there's a better way to do this. I think I can do it better. And that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to see represented in your project.
Turn it in 30%.
Thank you. We will use, thank you, Laureen. We will continue to use turnitin.com as you turn in your lessons and your work. More on that later. But Christina, have you used it at the undergrad level?
Yeah, I use it in my class.
Perfect. All righty. Sign up with Brooke. Exactly, and we'll get you going. Lynn, are you familiar with turnitin.com?
Yeah, we used it in middle school.
Excellent, excellent. All righty. They will submit their work to you, but also to Turnitin because, let's see if I can remember the page in your handbook. You guys should know this, right? Because you've memorized this, correct? Yeah, I know. I have memorized this. I wrote this. And the APA manual. Yeah, well. Anyway, I was right. 31. On page 31, it mentions that at the very top, this is about the quality and originality guidelines for professional projects. Can you go to the internet to get ideas? Of course you can. But can you copy the lessons from the internet? Absolutely not. And we're all pretty experienced. We're going to recognize it. We will know. So be cautious. The adapted from components are limited to 30% or less of your project. So there are two words that I will use for clarity, and we'll say this throughout our 4 class sessions. One is retrieve from. That means you found a Venn diagram, a handout, a worksheet. You couldn't make it any better. It's perfect. So you imported it into your project. That's fine. But not every handout should be imported. If you did import it, then that's called retrieved from. And you'll put that down on the bottom of that worksheet because you literally copied and pasted it. You retrieved it from somewhere online. Adapted from your primary teacher, and it had a really great poster of a Venn diagram. It had some cute graphics in there, some cute colors. So you tweaked it a bit, and you call that adapted from. So retrieve from is an exact copy. Boom. It's imported in your project. Adapted from is basically, you tweaked it a bit. You looked at it, you said, very useful, I need this, I'll create my own. Okay, more on that later, but when you see the handout that says how to cite online sources, that will be a help for you because you might use YouTube. You might use, all sorts of things from the internet. But please, I don't want you to have to pay for anything. Try to find ones that are free. You've paid enough. That's right. You're starving students, and I don't want to continue, most definitely. Any other quick questions?
How do you calculate the 30%?
How do you calculate it?
30% of 152 pages or 30% of 12 lessons?
30% of 12 lessons. You're right.
It's of it all, isn't it?
It's all of it,
Yeah.
but your rationale, it's already been through turnitin.com, so you're not going to send that through.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said 30, you can only use 30% adapted sources.
Adapted and retrieved, we've kind of, it's fine.
Kind of all in there.
It's all in there.
Okay.
And we'll be careful, Robert. Your project director will know, and you will know. We're relying on your professionalism, most definitely.
Sure, can I ask, when they
Yes.
create their own handouts or any other material that is theirs, is it fine if they just say created by?
If they want to, but they don't have to. If you don't have created by down at the bottom, we know it's your originality. So don't even bother. That's just a waste of space and a waste of your time. If there is no name there, it's yours. And that's what we want to see. And that's the exciting part. Okay. Alrighty. This happens to be Diane Macken's another science project that was our graduate symposium winner. The graduate symposium is the best of the best. And we bring you together in about another year, and our department, Beth and I, basically choose the best of the best, the most exemplary projects, and we ask you to present them once again, defend them to an audience, a large audience, and a professional panel again. And there is, not large, but some monetary rewards, not big at all, but maybe enough for some classroom stuff, or a new snowboard or something like that. This is Diane Macken. Diane Macken came to us from actually the Washoe County Sheriff's Office. She was actually a CSI chemist, and she could tell stories that could curl our hair, but she decided to become a teacher. So after 25 years, she retired from the Washoe County Sheriff's Office, and it took her about 6 years to go through our teaching program, because she took like one class every semester, and she would take her vacation in the summer and then take a couple of classes, for example, the TESOL, Camp TESOL. But this is fascinating, and talk about high interest, and something that really pulls the students in. Very exciting. So there are 4 projects. Meredith, there is another project, a phonics project online.
Cool.
I have one that I do want to show you, but another one, our third one, surprisingly, was Megan D. And Megan D is actually a forest ranger, and Megan will never teach in the classroom, but yet she teaches in the outdoors. And so she created this instructional guide of lessons, a compilation lessons for the connection to nature, which is very interesting. And now she has a Master of Arts in Teaching degree. And then our last one then is Amy Barbera.
I should be looking at this one.
Perfect. Amy,
Is this the one you're talking about?
yes, exactly, and that's a reading. Teaching vocabulary and reading comprehension through read-alouds. I think I did share this with you, Alyssa, at some point. Amy Barbera, if you might remember her. All righty. With that said, I will send you the link. It's really hard to find on the website, so I will send you the link. But I want to share just to, where to go? Thank you for your patience. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's not it. Oh dear. Oh dear. One moment. Thank you. It's supposed to be down here.
The PowerPoint?
Yes, it's the
You
PowerPoint.
had it. Go to the P.
Far right.
And click on the right.
There it is. I'm getting tired too. Thank you all. Together we're better, right? We're a good team.
Teamwork.
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 I tell you, I really appreciate it. All righty. I kept looking. It was a snake, it would have bit me, correct? I'd like you to look at, please go to the PowerPoint that I sent last night, and we're just going to look at slides 10, 11, and 12. I want you to read this very carefully to yourself. Often refer to it, keep it pulled up as a reference for you as you create your professional project. Lastly, I'm going to mention the 3 elements, basically the 3 sections. And again, I apologize if you are a vegetarian or vegan, but we are kind of going with the meat of the project, so to speak. So your first section that is due on February 6th is the title page, signature page, table of contents, abstract, rationale, note to teachers, or introduction, or background information, whatever you want to call it. This is the exciting part. This is the creativity of your project. Then, here we are at the meat, the main course. Activities and strategies, these are the lessons. These are the lessons, the 12, a minimum of 12 lessons that you will create. Then, again, a vocabulary page is optional, but can truly think about the technicality of the language that is used based on your topic.
Cheryl, really
Yes.
quickly, is it 12 lesson plans total or 12 lesson plans minimum?
Total minimum. Minimum.
So just 12 lessons?
12 lessons. If you want to do 13, that's fine. If you want to
Okay.
do 14, that's fine. As long as you don't have
Us two need to know that.
you know, I should have remembered that.
Yeah.
My type A students, thank
Yeah.
you. You're very right.
12 to turn into 20.
Yeah, if you tell us not to.
Girls, 12 is fine.
Great, thank you, okay.
12,
We're getting out.
12 is okay for Miss and Miss Type A. 12 is okay.
Thank you.
But no less than 12.
Okay.
And 12 is very acceptable, and 12 is probably enough to do a good job of your topic and presenting the
It's
concept.
12. It's 12, guys.
It's 12, exactly.
Nicole, it's 12.
Nicole, you can do 13 if you want.
No, we're doing 12. We're
It's
doing
12, okay. All right. The standards matrix, and we'll discuss that later. This is something that you will create. It's a compilation, it's a graph, it's a matrix of all the standards that you used in each lesson. Okay? Then, here's the meat, right here. 12. What did I say, girls?
12.
12.
Just 12.
12, just 12
No
is,
more, no less.
12 is exemplary. It really is. If you make them good lessons, right? All right. If not, I need a drink. Maureen will be on you, most definitely. And then there'll be me, and you don't want to do that.
No,
so.
we're not going there.
Don't
Just
go there.
12.
Definitely not. Dessert. Dessert. That's the final, the ending of your project. You'll end with resources and references. More explanation on that later. Again, this is just a quick overview, but those are all the things that you used in your project that you want the reader to reference and use possibly as a resource. The annotated bibliography, so easy. All you do is copy and paste from your proposal, the final corrected copy of your proposal. And you can keep it in Times New Roman 12-point font if you like. Because if you start changing it over to the cute font that you're using in your project, what will happen is you're hanging indent and some of your pagination may not work. Exactly. Your choice, but that will take you some time to make certain that you've got the citations correct, hanging indent, etc. Also, with that said, with fonts, if you choose a font, as Taryn mentioned, taking your project to Rick's Printing, they do use a PC, so they don't use Apple. So your font that you found that's really creative and you're really excited about it may not be applicable to what they have for their printing abilities. So you want to be certain that you're not using something too creative, but yet we want your font to be readable. That's the most important thing.
I'd say if you purchase a font or you use something that's a little funkier,
Yeah.
always, like after you make whatever look pretty, switch it over to a PDF and see if that text has remained in the same place and the same font, and if it is not, then danger, well, Robinson, stay away from it,
Yeah,
don't do it.
you might have to-
Find something new, or take a screenshot of it and then insert it. But, you know, just know that you're gonna do that for everywhere you want to use that, if you decide to do that, and that can get, like.
And that ends up, like Will did, with every page. And that's a printing nightmare for the student, yes. All right, whew, that's it. Again, this is not the best teaching, but as you know, I had to disseminate the information. We will now take this time, and I will do my best. I want to talk to Meredith, but yet, if you have questions, I'm available. I will try to monitor your conversations so that as you work with your project director, set up the next appointment, like in a week, to meet with your project director, if you are ready, all right? Even if you don't have a lot done, just start that communication, all righty. Thank you all so much. Goodbye to our distance students. See you next week.